Hello, it's B. Welcome if you're new here. Welcome back if you're not. We are going to play Roottreemania today. I think we'll go to slot 2 for unused. Oh, that's a lot down there. Oh, that's
Hi,
Clark.
I'm Clark. Probably not who you expected to be knocking, but life's funny sometimes. You've done well staying anonymous. It took us a while to track you down. A lot has happened in the last year. Far too much of it public. But there's stuff going on behind the scenes, too. I never wanted to be president. I'm not great with stress. With my mother's deteriorating
Condition?
I'm sorry, I'm rambling. I'm not here for sympathy. I'm here because part of the fallout of Sam's book is that everyone's coming out of the woodwork. Now that it's public knowledge that Clancy Trust covers any root tree despite their history with us, a lot of potential cousins have surfaced. You may have seen that man on the cover of News Time. That was a disaster for us. And then Miracle went and made it all about himself.
As he probably
The long and
would.
short of it
That
is a
doesn't
lot
surprise
of
me.
potential cousins just showed up. Sam's helping some of them, but she's not really going about it the right way. And she's not taking calls from anyone in the family. I let it slip through a mutual friend that I found you, and I was stopping in. It's manipulative, but I'm hoping she'll reach out to you. You can let her know I'm on her side. In the meantime, if you're willing, I can share our files with you. Pass them along to Sam if she reaches out. I'm genuinely hoping she'll realize I'm an ally. Feel free to do your own research. I've been told you enjoy things like this. To each their own.
Okay, what do we have here? Possible infidelity. Family tree update. This person is also on the original tree. Okay. Okay. Oh my god. Okay. Let's see. Today is August 3rd, 1999. It has been 8 months since you helped Sam Matson with the research necessary for her book. Sam was true to her word and paid you an incredibly large sum of money. She never mentioned you by name, however, so you've managed to keep a low profile. The root trees, on the other hand, have not. Below is a summary of notable events since the book's release, though you can refresh your memory in full detail by searching online. 6 pieces. Sam Matson's book about Elias Rootree was released in February. It was a bestseller for a few months. At the time, Carl had not yet been replaced. The Rootree Rift in March, the Rootree company stumbled publicly as they attempted to respond to the book's release with multiple conflicting press releases and a clear lack of leadership. Clark Rafferty LaRue. Clark was announced as the permanent successor to Carl Rootree and welcomed Sam Matson to the family officially. The company hired an outside legal group to handle the changes to the Clancy Trust. This included any other new questions of lineages. 5 Ps. After this announcement, there was a rash of different people claiming to be Rootrees, mostly dismissed as opportunists and scammers. The highest profile of these by a wide margin was a rapper named Felix Fellows, who changed his moniker to 5Ps as a publicity move at the same time. 5Ps is the only notable person on the updated tree. Call it what it is, guys, okay? It's spider search. Let's search up 6 pieces. I wonder if that's the name of her book too. We have the root tree rift. Nope. Rift. We have. So Clark is the next president. I guess we can look him up. Did he take his wife's last name? We need to look up 5 Ps, but that's on my notable. Roottreemania. In another high-profile misstep, Miracle Roottree publicly and vehemently denied the 5 Ps was a root tree. The Roottree's legal team then offered to do a DNA test to get 5 Ps to drop its claim, and in a moment that caught what seemed like the entire world by storm, the test proved he was a root tree. Suddenly, the world was obsessed with the root tree. I really thought he was going to deny it, but then be like, no, don't do a test because, like, Felix was his son. Is that what his name was? Felix Fellows. Oops. Oh my goodness. Page 3. Anonymom and Jane Doe Roottree. In July, an anonymous woman, who the press began to refer to as Anonymom, appeared in interviews with her face and voice disguised. She claimed that an affair with the Roottree led to the birth of her daughter, aka Jane Doe Roottree. If true, this would make her daughter yet another secret Roottree, and therefore entitled to a share of the clan's success. Nobody knew it at the time, but this would turn out to be the last chapter in the Roottree saga. Anonymom / Jane Doe Roottree. As more and more of Anonymom's story came out, people began to notice how much it echoed 5 P's in nearly every significant way. The court of public opinion began to turn. Confirming the world's suspicion, the DNA test, orchestrated by lawyers on both sides, proved that her daughter was not a Roottree. This final event caused a public disappointment, smugness from doubters, and countless accusations of the entire ordeal being an elaborate hoax or an attempt at fraud. Things got a bit ugly, and the fun of Roottreemania seemed to disappear overnight. Now, a month later, it feels like a distant memory. So we need to look up 5 Ps for sure. Previously on The Roottrees Are Dead. This is a new investigation with a new focus after many months of newfound interest in the Rootrees. It is recommended that you try to catch up with some of what happened since last time. Some web searches may yield new or different results, and some books and magazines from your previous investigation may be relevant to your new one. It's also a much more widespread search. The list of first and last names you can choose from will contain red herrings. Not all of them will be used. Below is a reminder of some of the most notable beats of your initial dive into the Roottree family tree. I think I'm going to just leave this stuff here. All evidence from before is still available, and for your convenience, any searches that do not lead to any new information still function as they did during your first investigation. It was founded by Elias and Gwyneth. Entire family has a financial reliance on the health of the company. Most of it took place around Butler County, Pennsylvania. Elias, Carl, and Reno were on the cover of magazines. Right. Other notable Rootrees like Lauren, Miracle, Jim have physical media such as recorded albums, books, and movies associated with them. Lauren's 2 diary is probably the most useful resources overall, mentioning many of her relatives directly. It really did, and I didn't catch on to any of that. I think I was too tired. 5 pieces. Elias's children could be identified based on the initials of the original candy flavors. 5 presidents. Many were featured in periodicals. Stephanie and Brian Jones were featured in campaign posters and led to Caroline Morden's art book, which enabled you to fill out more of the tree. Many of the younger Rootrees were found by following a complex rabbit hole through a conspiracy site that led to finding a searchable website for Chris Rafferty, Lauren's grandson. November Roottree was really difficult to place. Her occupation could only be found via Brian Jones's company's website. Ronald and his brother Robert go by Ron and Robbie. Both work on a TV show called... Did they work on Brother Trouble? Until Robbie embezzled money and fled to Paris. Ron unsuccessfully tried to have Robbie removed. Is that why? Was that in the last one? I don't remember. Sam and her father were cryptically mentioned in a book about historical letters. There were also a few dead endings and red herrings. Eloise's herring Roottreemania, who claimed he was a Roottreemania but was not. Family Man, a book about Elias, turned out to be propaganda and not useful. Lauren's other books, historical romance novels, were not very useful on their own, though could lead to other information. Caroline Morden's sculptures were not useful. Today, August 3rd, 1999, there was a knock at your door. Clark Ruffy LaRue, the current president of the Roottreemania Candy Company, explained that multiple people have come out of the woodwork to claim to be Roottrees. He has been trying to work with Sam, but she has not answered his calls. He also handed you a letter that he said you could share with Sam. That said the following. To both of you, the company I hired to help us with the clan to trust is busy pouring through the entire family's history, as well as people they may have had contact with. They said the family is not particularly happy with this and are doing their best to slow things down. Many of them are actively avoiding our interviews. Every time there's a high-profile public case, it causes headaches. So please, I don't mind if you do your research, but I ask that you stop going to the press. Instead, we have a highly trained team of lawyers to back you up. We're ready and willing to verify anyone and everyone you believe could be realistically part of a relationship that led to the birth of a new Roottreemania. Just tell us to investigate by filling in the new sections of the tree, and we'll take the time to handle verifying that the timeline checks out. But keep in mind why we're here. If someone didn't have a child or has already been disqualified by our lawyers, like the case of the girl with a negative DNA test, there won't be a place for them on the tree. We're not just looking for affairs and infidelities. We're only looking for the ones that led to potential new Roottrees. Some spots in the new section will be marked with a tree icon. Those areas are reserved for members of the original family tree that you filled in 8 months ago. Just like last time, be sure to use birth names for everyone you add. Married names or nicknames won't be enough. To start sorting out the infidelities, I recommend you turn your eyes to the men in positions of power. I'd love to say that's only because it would have been a lot harder for women to hide 9 months of pregnancy and birth without the family noticing, but I can't. So one of them is definitely a woman, I think. I'll be blunt, I'm no stranger to infidelity. I wish I could claim that I was a perfect husband, but you've seen the family tree, so why pretend? Some of us learned how to wield our family name and fortune to our benefit. Consequences be damned. I can't change the past or unhurt those who I betrayed. Instead, all I can do is be honest with myself and you, refuse to make any more mistakes, and do my best to sort out the various messes we've left behind. So please, fill in the tree, and together we can figure out how to begin to make amends. Good luck, and thank you both. Clark. Ugh. Handshaking. Jesus. Thank you so much for that. 5Ps, aka Felix Fellows, is a rapper who has found some recent radio play after being publicly confirmed as a long-lost Roottreemania and entitled to part of their fortune. His alias, 5Ps, is a play on 5 Pieces, an article you find on a website known for their particularly harsh reviews of modern music. Gives his most recent album, Root of All Evil, 1 star out of 7 for some reason, with the headline more poser than my action figure collection. So I think this is Felix, because he has a star. review mentioned his real name as David and used to go by Dirte Davy, and the author rused the fact that this rebranding was a blatant marketing stunt and the expense of his mother's tragic past. She overdosed when he was 16. Apparently, only one of the songs on the album is new, and the others were simply rewritten to turn blatant references to sex, drugs, and violence into clumsy euphemisms. So would this be David then? We're gonna go David Fellows for now. His rise to prominence was kickstarted when he appeared a few months ago on the cover of News Time holding a photo of his mother with Guy Hudson. At first, the Roottreemania company denied it vehemently. Miracle Roottreemania even appeared on the same magazine a week later. But since then, they've backtracked and publicly welcomed him to the family. Their press release at the time stated they had new evidence that confirmed his story. Felix Fellows, aka 5Ps, famously appeared on the cover of News Time, kicking off Roottreemania. Then a week later, Miracle Roottreemania appeared on the cover of the magazine, and an article focused heavily on 5Ps as well. A summary of both articles, as well as a close-up of the photo 5Ps is holding on the cover of his issue, had been added to your evidence. I wonder if his dad hold on. This has to be Elias, right? Okay, I'm a little confused. Like, this, I think it's Guy, but I'm not certain. That's Miracle. The rapper 5Ps appeared on the cover of News Time holding this Polaroid of his mother Joanna when she and Zach Morden's secretary at the company picnic. He claims that Joanna and Guy Hudson, also in the photo, were having an affair that led to his birth. Where's Guy? Okay, so this isn't Mom Joanna. And this is supposed to be Guy, but he's not on the thing. But his last name is Hudson. Oh, he's not. Okay. Miracle Roottreemania. Oh, is that? That looks like this picture, but like backwards. Miracle Roottreemania appeared on the cover of News Time shortly after 5Ps did. He vehemently denied that 5Ps was a Roottreemania. This article was from before the DNA test that proved it. Miracle doesn't focus much on the details of 5Ps' accusation regarding his mother and Guy Hudson. Instead, he comes across as exhausted at the events that has been going on behind the scenes, as well as the character of those he feels are attacking his family. He starts with 6 pieces content. So I think, So it says that he starts with 6 pieces content. I think 6 pieces. It's a book by Sam Madsen. He says that although most of the book was based in fact, it left out anything that wouldn't fit the agenda. He points out Sam's daughter still earned a generous salary for overseeing the farm division of Roottreemania, and that Sam did the same before her. But Sam's family was not destitute, and that really it was only her son who chose to take on a job with no salary. He claims that though they didn't have to, I just pulled my headphones, sorry. He claims that though they didn't have to, the family helped pay for her son's medical bills after voting that it was the right thing to do. Miracle also said that the story about his father, Elias, shunning Essie was one-sided, leaving out Edward Clancy's blame in the whole thing. Elias gave him a simple ultimatum: stop sinning or be disowned. Oh, that's not right. Miracle said it was Essie's own choice, and that Elias allowed him to earn food and shelter on the company's dime was a kindness, especially considering that he and John continued to live together. Miracle then pivots to the fallout from Six Pieces. He recounts a deluge of claims to the Clancy Trust that the family have been subjected to. He doesn't cite any specifics, but says that every time someone comes forward, the family devolves into arguments. They've had to hire an outside legal team to help, but so far, every case has been demonstratively... That's not demonstratively. Laughably false. All they do is tarnish his family's reputation. He focuses on Five Ps, who appeared on News Time before him. He calls him a grifter and a delinquent, and says he is using their name and products to sell filth to the masses. Of all the accusations, he says this is the most dangerous, because it exposes the world to hatred. He cites Five Ps' lyrics as violent, sexist, and ungodly, and prays the boy will repent, retract his lives, and find religion. Lastly, he turns to the future. Miracle states that those that wish to hear the true story can join him on his farewell tour this upcoming fall. The Miracle's Roottrees are planning on touring the country's churches one last time, and that now at age 71, Miracle is the oldest living Roottree. While he plans to continue preaching at his own church in Butler County after the tour, this is your last chance to hear the truth from the man with the most complete recollection of one of America's most notable families in your own hometown. The article mentions the Miracle's son, Miracle Jr., did not wish to comment, and he has a statement from Clark Rafferty LaRue through the Roottree law firm. Miracle does not speak for his whole entire family. We're working carefully on a plan to definitively disprove any claims of infidelity in our family's past. The article also does not refute Miracle's claim that he's the oldest living Roottree, despite Sam Matson being born the year before him. It was unclear if Miracle made the claim out of ignorance or spite. Okay. Oh, yeah. There we go. Sam Matson's book was released this year and details the truth about Elias Roottrea as well as Sam's father, Edward Clancy Roottrea, and John Miller. You helped verify her story, so much of the book's contents are familiar to you. That said, Sam has some sections on other family secrets and rumors. Much of it doesn't matter to the primary purpose of the book, and some of it is new to you and may be important to your search. These sections have been added to your notes. Oh, look, that's her father. Unwrapping America's Sweetest Family. Sam's book has a few different passages about her own history with the company and the rumors and gossip she collected during that tenure. She ran the farm for a period starting around 1968 after the death of Elias Roottrea until her daughter Gwyneth took over in 1984. Most of the relevant rumors coincide with the reign of Guy Hudson, who took over as president in 1978. Sam was very much not a fan of Guy, and according to Six Pieces, it was an open secret within the family that Guy was very much not a fan of remaining faithful to his wife Patricia. Okay, so he took over in 1978. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is Guy Hudson here. He was the third president, I think, right? Where is he on this again? There he is. Yeah, third president. Okay. Here we go. To his wife, Patricia. Is there? No, just affairs. Many of their hires at the time were young single women, and Guy often spent a lavish amount on private parties. This was 20 years ago, and Sam warns that most of it is hearsay. Still, you find the following information that may be relevant. One of Sam's farm supervisors was named Elizabeth. Allegedly. Elizabeth. One daughter who Sam never met, but who worked as one of Guy's... Oh, wait. Elizabeth? Oh, that's one of the supervisors. One of the farm supervisors. Hold on. So, Elizabeth... farmhand, one daughter who worked as one of Guy's secretaries. A caterer from a local restaurant called Antonellis. Oh. Met her daughter at one of Guy's parties, and they eloped quickly due to a pregnancy. Elizabeth wasn't aware that the party was for swingers. Rumor has it that her daughter showed up with Guy. It didn't seem comfortable switching partners. Guy's main positive contribution to the family involved expanding to markets previously untapped by Roottreemania. However, when he went on trips overseas, they were often for weeks at a time, and Guy was known for spending more time and money on an unofficial business than meetings with distributors and manufacturers. It was said that he bribed at least one politician to open a factory in Brazil. Many overseas trips. There's also a section where Sam speculates that Elias may have also cheated on Gwyneth. I thought that same thing. Elias affair. Allegedly. Gwyneth was always much kinder to Sam than Elias was, and was the first to invite Sam to family events. While she had no hard evidence, Sam always got the impression that Gwyneth was able to coerce Elias into allowing Sam back into the family using some kind of leverage, instead of it being a natural course of events. She mentioned that Elias and Gwyneth were known to loudly argue, sometimes about another woman. Feud with wife over another woman. She also says her son Ernie once asked her, "Who's Beth?" Who's Beth? Because he overheard them yelling about someone with that name. As far as Sam knows, Elias once had a secretary named Elizabeth. But she never met her. So we looked into 6 pieces. We've not fully delved into it yet, but we're gonna look up. Let's see. Okay. 6 Pieces, Unwrapping America's Sweetest Family by Sam Madsen was released in early 1999 and perhaps assisted by the still relatively recent plane crash. Reviews were mixed. and its time on the bestsellers list was limited to only 2 months. Most reviewers agreed that the core of the book, about Samantha's fathers and the struggles they faced, was compelling, and that the takedown of the hypocrisy of Elias Roottreee was deserved. However, many took umbrage with the timing of the release and the tone of the book, which seemed vindictive. The fallout from the book led to the Roottreee Company scrambling to release a statement, and due to a conflict of leadership, famously released multiple conflicting official statements over 3 days. This confusing move was referenced in popular culture due to a late-night sketch about indecisionitis, but more traditional analysts have been calling it the Roottreee Rift. A few months later, due to Roottreemania, the book re-entered the charts and sold even better than the first time. Indecisionitis was a fake disease coined by a popular sketch show as part of a fake pharmaceutical advertisement for Get Together. While the segment isn't fully about the Roottreee Candy Company, it was released in the weeks after their bizarre response to the release of 6 Pieces by Sam Madsen and references the recent news. Sketch a woman ordered a number 5 at a drive-thru speaker, and after pulling forward, she changed her mind at the window, asked to switch it to a number 3. Caused a lengthy backup and annoyance amongst the restaurant employees and other patrons. After she pulled away, the same woman then barged into the restaurant and passed the current line, loudly complaining that she didn't receive her number 5. After this, the sketch transitioned from the restaurant scene to a pharmaceutical commercial. Doctor claimed that the woman was suffering from indecisionitis, disease that causes extreme confusion and irritability, and had recently been found to severely hinder the leaders of large corporations, but could also spread to humans. The doctor then recommended Get Together, a fake pharmaceutical drug. Multiple testimonials used variations of the catchphrase, "When I can't make my tough decision, I've got to get my shit together." The final testimonial included a bald man in silhouette with a voice changer saying, "I'm not comfortable sharing who I am, but I'm comfortable saying that before I took my family's candy company, I really should have gotten my shit together." That's Clark. That's funny. Okay, so we have it. The Roottreee Rift. Every time. Let's see, where was this on the... Okay, that was next. First was fairly standard, stated that there was no president of the Roottreee Company, but the entire family was made aware of the release of the book and that they would be meeting as soon as possible. Only then could they verify the legitimacy of the claims it raises and decide next steps. Second release was emailed to business newspapers 3 hours later, announced that after a vote, Ron Roottreee would be taking over as an interim president. It also went to state that Ron was aware of the book, had verified the claims within, and would look into compensating Miss Madsen and her family immediately. Also stated the company lawyers would be taking immediate steps with the family to revisit the claims and trust terms to make sure nothing like this could happen again. Quickly cleared to business reporters and analysts that the time between the 2 press releases would not have been logistically sufficient to gather a majority of the family, even using conference calls. Reported on many news channels, a third, much shorter press release came the next day, claimed that a draft of the announcement was made prematurely, and that they're joint presidents. Okay. Weird. New president does not include Root. Notes that both Clark Rafferty LaRue and Ron Roottreee would be taking over for what was essentially described as a transitional period in the aftermath of 6 Pieces. Clark was a permanent resident. Most of the information about Clark you knew already. Many descriptions of him tend to focus on his advertising career. Mother was Lauren Roottreemania. Complex and volatile marital history. Clark has tried to remain out of the spotlight, but did have one notable foray into public eye. He gained a lot of support when his first move was a statement in favor of accepting Sam and her family into the trust. This also served as an announcement that the Clancy Trust would no longer be handled by anyone in the family, since due to their financial motivation, none of them could ever be impartial. Underlying thorough line to how pop culture treated Roottreemania was an excuse for everyday people to claim they were also Rootrees. Daytime talk shows had I'm a Secret Rootree episodes. Late night hosts and guests made jokes about other Lush members. Widely shared website where you could fill in your own name to find if you were a Rootree. When you submitted your name, it simply said no, with an image of Clark Rafferty LaRue giving you the finger. Roottreemania lasted only a few weeks, just long enough for Six Pieces to re-enter the charts, trigger new printings of other Rootree-related media, included Lauren's diaries, VHS releases of Gwen's old movies, as well as countless other unauthorized biographies, which mostly seemed to attempt to capitalize on the Rootree sisters Carl and Brenda. Re-releases were too late to successfully capitalize on or extend the craze. As a result, most of them were failures, and countless novelty shirts that had variations of I'm a Secret Rootree became immediately unfashionable, though some people still wear them, ironically. Whoops. Potential new Rootree being added to the Clancy Trust. Claimed she slept with Guy Hudson. Her daughter was Rootree. Article about herself in News Time. TV interview and article. Referred to her daughter as Jane Doe Rootree. The day after News Time article publicly supported Anonymom due to some parts of the story she found particularly credible. Momentum from Sam's endorsement, Anonymom went on media blitz. This backfired. As more details came out, people became skeptical of her story due to the extreme similarity to 5Ps. Many of the same details as his mother's, including her job and the time period. Rootrees were more prepared to handle all Clancy Trust-related cases. DNA tests proved that Anonymom's daughter could not be related to the Rootrees. Announced at joint press conference with lawyers representing both of them. Ensured their respective claimants provided accurate samples. I bet the Rootrees didn't do that. Immediately after the negative results were released, many of those who had already been skeptical felt vindicated. Others, built up hope that history could repeat itself after 5Ps, felt duped. Many suspected the whole affair had been a hoax. Many demanded that Anonymom be held accountable, and some even began to track down her true identity. Pressure to put out a second statement. Though it was scientifically proven that Jane Doe Rootree is not a Rootree, this doesn't mean that her mother and Guy Hudson were not involved in an affair. She had every right to make her claim, as it has been verified that her stories about Guy Hudson were not exaggerations. Please leave their family alone. High-profile anticlimax, published Backlash, was the beginning of the end for Roottreemania. The final notable event related to the release of Six Pieces. Things soon went back to normal. Already been eliminated as a potential new Rootree by the company's lawyers. One of the ones who are the ones verifying your work. Anonymom's affair does not appear on your updated tree. Okay. So Where do I find his music? Oh, right. Root of all evil. Evil. Debut album. The album is mostly material that 5P's recorded for his mixtape before he became notable, but re-recorded with lyrical differences and professional production. All Your Problems was the first and only single released. Now he's retained the infamous celebrity lawyer Stevie Whitlock. To date, it doesn't seem like he's followed through. The single didn't make much of a splash, but Whitlock, known for public stunts, paid thousands of teenagers a few dollars an hour to call and request to view the video on MTV, which increased his profile. MTV eventually cut out and banned the video altogether, which in turn received national news coverage and made the song even more popular. You could argue that since the company sold 1 billion sandwiches per year, that was enough missing sandwiches to make a sub long enough to span from New York to Los Angeles. Jury awarded her a paltry $5,000, but the news coverage of her crusade turned up to be priceless. None of it seems related to the root trees. Okay, let's go back to Root of All Evil. This track is the only new song on the album. Hypocrisy of those that claim money is evil. Points out that the only people who think money is evil are those that have it. Triumphantly talks about taking the root tree's wealth due to it being his birthright and giving it to those who need it most. You find a copy of the song on a suspicious looking website and download it for your records. You're gonna get so many, like, viruses. This is... but it didn't make a big slash.
Attention, attention root trees. This is 5P's coming at you from the real world. You know, the place you ain't ever lived in.
You say money is the root of all your problems. Root of all your
Man,
problems.
y'all are hypocrites, sitting back in your massive estates, built from the cash that your ancestors gave you, acting like you somehow deserve it, based on your family's creations. Yo,
But looky here, sonny, don't you come for our money, or you might burn bright in hellfire someday, like that Madsen chick.
and her two dads. My pappy's cleansing trust should keep you away. Yo, it's disturbing, catching a sermon from a geezer who's never known hurt, but blurts out these claims that somehow we're sinners, cause we didn't earn it. When all of your worth it came free with your name, you expect me to treat your lectures on greed as some expert creed from he without blame. How about instead, I turn my other cheeks and spread them. When you give me a kiss, you'll know just where to aim.
You say money is the root of all your problems. Let me take those problems away.
Whoever calls dollars the root of all evil, just trying to make small pursuits of real people. You silver spoon feeds, you the world's purest treacle, while real world folks burn their spoons for the needle. So once more with passion, tell this poor tragic orphan how your mansions and Porsches are actually horrible.
How I'm better off penniless, grasping for morsels. How one in my share,
That's actually extortion. With your candy ass name, synonymous with sweets. Oh, you wanna call me classless? I'm gangster from Portland, but I play that game. I came up on the streets. The only streets you reppin' are Park Place and Boardwalk. Your hypocrisy, monopoly is toppling. When I knock, have G's.
top off my pockets, please.
Cause the same God that got to steal my mom from me is what he wants, right? For you to live in poverty. And if you're suddenly not eager to unhand that fortune, that's unfortunate. I guess I'm gonna have to take my portion, and I'll do it all legally. Class action, courtrooms, decorum. I way past your fancy ass dormant.
You say money is the root of all your problems. Let me take those problems away.
Bring the choir in.
You say money is the root of all your problems. Let me take those problems away.
Yeah.
You say money is the root of all your problems. Let me take those problems away.
Whoever calls dollars the root of all evil, just trying to make small pursuits of real people. You silver spoon feeds you the world's purest treacle, while real world folks burning spoons for the needle. Whoever calls dollars the root of all evil, just trying to make small pursuits of real people. You silver spoon feeds you the world's purest treacle, while real world folks burning spoons for the needle. Whoever calls dollars.
Okay. He references Miracle for sure. So that's Guy. We have Elias over here. So Elias. I wonder if maybe Elias Jr. Or maybe Miracle, because Miracle's been like... Well, probably not Miracle. Because Miracle was born pretty late. Oh dear. Some have uploaded partial transcript. Only her answers, missing the questions. Fit in this family, so it didn't surprise me. She could have put me in if she wanted to talk about the time during my activism days, and I got... So... She's talking about Sam, I think. And this is her... They probably asked her something about her wife. I'm a huge fan of romance or women, but he didn't like the entire woman. It was doubly awkward for me because he was more supportive than most. I slowly figured out some night was see how strong he was. I bet that's about Guy. Didn't know him well. That was one of Sam's problems with her family. None of us did except Carl. Honestly, I get why she's pissed. Gotta not speak ill of the dead. I wonder if she's talking about Ernie? Ernie said. Did Guy die too? Or are they talking about Carl? Because we used to be friends before they sent him to private school. He came back a lot judgier when they made him president. He's harder to label. When I was a teenager, he was basically drunk or high or both all the time. He actually used to sell me pot. His problems with women were different than guys. Guess he knew it probably hypocritical to judge anyone for anything. Just kind of boring and old. For that, how I used to be into Guy or Carl. Cautionary tale. Never that boring or old. Oh dear. Search public library. Life between wars. Okay, I'm gonna pull this up and I'm gonna go get something to eat real quick because I'm a little hungry. Okay, I'm back. I have cucumbers and sumjang, and I have Earl Grey tea. Relationship between her mother and father. Jacob and I married at an age that most deem unfit for marriage. No choice. So many girls I went to school with have taken multiple lovers. Many of my girlfriend's husbands have been unfaithful. If I am able to remain true to the ghost of a man with no chance of physical reciprocation, no potential for long conversation, how could it be so hard to love someone you can reach out and touch? Someone you can joke with? Parents are a perfect match in the worst way. Cruelty and spite. Gloat, feel superior. Grown up with their cruelty and disdain for others my entire life. They make fun of my grandpop and his family, saying, blood is thicker than syrup and nothing thicker than Elias. And secret kindness as weakness. Elias, please remember Sam. That's not nice. Oh, Grandma Gwyneth's lisp, not lips. I can say without a doubt in my mind that my parents have never had eyes for anyone outside the marriage. They're too self-centered to look astray. I feel like that's probably wrong. Oh, Chris Rafferty. It was Chris Raff 75. Okay, I don't feel like there's anything important in here. Pennsylvania, moved back to Virginia. Pete is his stepdad. He knows his father because he got a check from the mail when he was 15. Now he talks to them every now and then. Guy Hudson, Ernie Madsen. Acutely remember what I only think I do because I pictured. I have a photo from when I was 5 and in the office with my dad, and Guy was there. Made myself sick, and some woman who I don't know cleaned my face. That part's important, but I don't know why, you know? Hard condition. Poison. Proof. Not good at spelling. Lulu's much better. So this is probably Guy. This is Chris. I imagine this might be Zach because of the red hair. Or no, this is Guy. Guy is his son, right? Oh, Guy is Angelica's son. Right. And this is the secretary. Okay. Guy. Oh, the restaurant. What's that restaurant called? Antonellis. Common name may need to use a more local resource. Okay. Italian restaurant. Recent time was when it closed, 1992. Owner, Rochelle Zimmer, sold in land. Puff piece from Valentine's Day, 1978, that asked recently married residents of Butler County how they met. Christine Garland responded. She and her husband, Steve, who's a chef at Antonellis, so her last name is... So it was... What is it? Shit. Steve Garland delivered produce. Extra hours. From her mother's farm. One daughter, guy's secretary. So that is Christine, I think. Wait. Will that be the final? Yeah. Hold on. I think. What is fruit tree? Nice and Gwen Ritchie, never real celebrities. Been in somewhat high regards. Elias' intention. Canning Company has placed much less emphasis on Elias as a historical brand connected figure. Those who have argued that it was his right to decide how to split his inheritance, and he did nothing wrong. He did television exchanges. First, Anderson Maple Farm only used to be a popular tourist attraction during summer months and had special tours. Since seen an explosion of off-season business as some religious and political groups decided to visit to show support for Elias and Gwyneth's traditional values and financial rights. Write-in support was in turn followed by pickets from gay rights activists when some particularly inflammatory organizations made their pilgrimages. Amongst all this conflict, the farm has since shut down, seemingly indefinitely. Website says check back later, but no date listed. Quotes from Beth Williams' book appear to have been taken down. Family Man, the Root Tree Legacy. reprinting of an old book. Blatant corporate propaganda. Propaganda information, especially of a biased or misleading nature, is to promote or publicize a particular political cause or point of view. We have a picture of this book. Nothing new about Elias. Reissue was so lazy, they reused the famous photo of Elias from Business Watch. Whoops. Family tree update. Childless people was not in the previous tree. Wasn't even pregnant. Spider searched them again. Who was it? Stephanie Jones, right. Two sections. In the first is baby photo. Daughter, named after her grandmother, which is Caroline, right? Yeah. Because she was born the night before Christmas. The second is what's next. Not much of substance, but lists some small accomplishments and finishes with the recent rise in popularity and controversy surrounding my extended family, there had been some extra attention on me. Stay tuned for announcements in the coming months about how I plan to use this publicity to accomplish bigger and better things. That's adorable with the little hat. Wearing an adorable little Santa hat and by Stephanie giving her signature thumbs up from her campaign literature. Yeah. Okay. What is it? Right, but where does that go? I'm so sorry. The parent on the family tree update. Oh, family tree. Oh, I see. I understand. So it's Stephanie Jones. Was it Landon? It was. Okay. We have politics. Carol. Jones. Occupation. Baby. Okay.
Has Clark reached out to you? Well, let me give you a short history lesson about the last few months of my life. 3 different people contacted me, claiming that somewhere in their history, they might be root trees. First, that young man, the rapper. I ignored that one. He seemed dubious. But then I saw the news. I felt terrible. So I began helping the others. Because my doubts with Felix were so misfounded, I ended up putting too much faith in the second person that approached me. I went to the media prematurely. I admit my mistake there. But the third person who contacted me also had a credible case. Before I could help, the company got to them somehow. The fact that the family silenced them doesn't seem to fill me with hope when it comes to Clark's intentions. But you're making progress based on the leads he gave you. It's really hard for me to get a read on him. I'll let you handle it.
But he said you can trust him.
I've sent you the case I've been working on, and some company records I managed to track down. The records are quite dense, but hopefully they're useful. Good luck!
Okay. Old tax mailing information. Only detail employees that work directly for Roottreemania or their corporate office. Many laborers on the farms and factories are not listed. Not sure how helpful it will be except cross-referencing guys' secretaries. Ooh yeah, guys' secretaries. So Elizabeth. Oh, this was Zach Morden though. Let's see, hold on. And a waste of your time. Elizabeth Cravensworth. Okay, she's had a lot of affairs. It's a little confusing for me to keep track. And visits overseas. Patrick Decker was hired. No longer employed. Now listed under product management. Christine Farrow. Fellows has been added to the list. Christine Farrow. Shit. I'll be right back. I just made a bit of a mess. Okay. I flung a cucumber out of my bowl on accident. Christine Farrow, I think, was the last affair. Not for sure. But a Joanna Fellows has been added to the list. So Joanna Robertson. So that's not where this goes. As long as we get them all like on here, we're good. Oh, but a Christine Garland. Beth Knox. Joanna Robinson. I don't know. That's a little confusing. Guy Hudson took over. Hold on. Special manuscript. I think the first one was Elizabeth, right? Or is that not right? No more Christine Garland. Beatrice Watts and Corinne Schwartz is hired. Okay. Susan Ford was hired under a special category that only existed for 1 year as an interpreter. Australia, China, France, Brazil, butterscotch, caviar again. Gwyneth Madsen is no longer employed, but a Gwyneth Cottrell is now listed. Okay. So all the information I have about Regina Clementine from New Orleans, Louisiana, and her husband Stuart Clementine. She wrote to me about a month ago. Apparently the Roottreemania lawyers were after her since then. By the time I received her letter and called her, she told me she couldn't cooperate anymore. Her husband, who was a police officer, never knew his father. Told her that he thought he might be a Roottreemania, but he's estranged from his family and didn't want to pursue it because he had no proof. She wrote to me behind his back. Normally I wouldn't be so sure, but she has some pretty credible facts. Some of it I've been able to confirm. Stuart's mother was named Mary Beth Clementine. Pretty well known in the 30s to 50s, a singer who went on tour to a lot of churches. Look her up online, and she was a pretty big proponent of adoption. I know for a fact that she came to Butler County a few times, and Regina said that Stuart told her that they always seem to spend a lot of time at the Miracle Church. Send me a photo to prove that she's who she says she is. I've sent it in this email. Saving a tree and not printing this email. So this is Stuart. This is Mary Beth. That can't be Miracle because he's not blonde. Yeah. And when? How old is Miracle? Could he have been the second possible? We don't know her spouse's name. But they did have a son. I don't think we have his name, right? Shit. Oh, Stuart Clementine. So... Was she a secretary? Yeah, she was. But we need their not maiden name, right? Or we do need their maiden name. So it's Joanna Robertson. Oh, a cashier? I don't know if Stuart's the oldest or if Mark is the oldest, so we're just gonna go like that for now. Her other son was adopted later. I wonder if this is her other son. I'll do that for now. Both time to her manager, Sterling. wonder if that's Sterling. Oh, a record label. Right. New Edison. Before she legally changed her name. Sterling Edison. Well, no, he has the last name Clementine. Okay. Over Modern Music Monthly. Mary Beth Quaker. So, Mark Clementine. Crocodile Clementine is listed on a website titled the Infamy List. Massive list of criminals who are known for odd crimes. He hails from Florida or Australia. Mark is listed as being from LA. Pretty big entry. Being the basket baby of 1950, almost everything else comes from his adulthood. Lost his job in 1975 after he tried to board the wrong airline's plane. He was drunk. Charged with trespassing and assault. Arrested for transporting smuggled animals over Canadian-Mexican borders for an illegal reptile supplier. Quite successful for the first 4 years. Caught when he had to make an emergency landing in Portland after he was bitten on the foot by a crocodile. Hence the nickname. We have a mugshot, okay. Released on parole. Arrested in 94 in San Diego for violating it in an attempt to visit his daughter's graduation. Punched the principal, man named Billy Sims. Received national press. Okay. 1, 2, 3. So I have at least one thing wrong. I think Stuart Clementine is good. What was his wife's name? Regina Clementine. But we don't know what her actual like maiden name is. Right, Miracle Roottree. But I don't have a picture of him. No, I do. I do have a picture of him. I have it already. Okay, who's right? Let's see. Okay. So I have something wrong about... Oh, I don't have his occupation. Criminal? Is that one? I'm pretty sure I saw that. No. Okay. Actor, advertising, architect, author, baby catcher, CEO, chef, comedian, construction. I don't know what his occupation would be. As a pilot. Okay. Other cunning times. Mention an owner. Rochelle Zimmer. Rochelle and her husband Mark, you mentioned, both were local business owners. Mark owned a local bookstore called Bookmarks, and he was sued by Steve Garland. Okay. Was also mentioned once in Butler County Times when he was sued by Steve Garland. So I have Christine when he worked at Antonellis. Kitchen Tales was a story-based recipe book credited to Mark Zimmer that had some success after it was featured on a morning talk show. Book released before the internet was widespread, mentions are rare. Publishers were unprepared. Alternative medicine website, focused on cooking with natural ingredients, mentions that one of Kitchen Tales recipes used salt water. If you switch out the salt water in recipe form, mix up 2/3 spring water and 1/3 filtered seawater. It tastes great. Ugh! Don't drink seawater, please. Plated loaf. Baker's flour and yeast flirted, grew their friendship, shared recipes, combined knowledge, loved his salt and pepper beard, adored her rosemary cheeks, whoops, thought sweetly about one another, one day whisked away, conscripted to bake the army's bread. Flora's tears began to salt her bread. Recipe asked the reader to combine salt, flour, yeast, sugar, olive oil, and rosemary. Combine salt and water together and add to mix and whisk until dough begins to form. 10 to 12 years later, they met again, seemingly by fate. Flora's unique dough had earned her a position as the king's personal baker, baked for the kingdom's 45 diplomats. One day they returned from Dutch Isles with a gift. 450 unbaked loaves, sent to the palace bakery to teach a method that required no kneading. Upon seeing Yates, Flora was both delighted, distraught, felt as if she were torn in two, not been made aware of the gift, and had already prepared buns for the palace oven, which to greet Yates warmly woke, but was struck by fears that he'd be unable to bake with her. Face retribution for being unprepared, cried to Yates, adding more salt to her dough. Yates, Sister Payne, insisted she had no obligation to prepare for a return she thought impossible. Shared her fear of retribution, knew that if they did not solve her predicament, they'd miss their final chance to bake together. Instead of wallowing in the present, work together to shape the future. Twisted and entwined doughs, bake them as one. Wrinkled by the king, Flora and Yates spent their days baking together, traveled for 45 years, settled down for 50 more. Okay. What time is it? It's cat food time. I will be right back. Cats have food. Let's see. Into the book at the center of Steve Garland's lawsuit. What was it called? Kitchen Tales. By Mark Zimmer. It really says garnishing the truth. Full title: Mark Zimmer's Kitchen Tales, out of print. Oh, what's the new one called? Garnishing the Truth. In 1994, quite successful after the duo appeared to promote it on a daytime talk show. Multiple printing since. There's a new to Garland and Zimmer. That's crazy. Acknowledgements. Christine, thank you for everything. Support means the world to me. You are the apple of my pie. James and Robert, becoming amazing men and incredible chefs. I guess I'm a good teacher. You proved my storytelling approach to recipes could be popular. Without you, this book couldn't exist. First met Steve in 1978 when he taught me a cooking class. Next time I saw him was over a decade later, and he was suing me for stealing his recipes. So you might wonder why I'm doing this introduction. Turned out that Steve and I had more in common than we thought. Instead of settling in court, we settled at McCarran's brew house over a game of darts. They said they'd give us the first drink of the night for an entire year for mentioning them. By the end of the game, he and I agreed we'd both rather make a ton of money together than spend a ton of money on lawyers. It's pretty rare to meet your best friend so late in life, but when I decided to retire, I moved to Boston just so we could hang out. If you're browsing this book in a bookstore, please buy our book. We need more money for when the free beer runs out, and the bookstore could probably use the sale. Oh, the restaurant, what's it called? McCarran's Brew House. Spider search. There's a list of famous people who have had a drink there, including former President of the United States, Kennedy. There's also a few listings of television shows and books. One of them is Garnishing the Truth. What, baby? You're not done eating yet, are you? No, you can't be. You haven't finished eating anything. What? Yeah? Can you come here? No, you don't. Okay. Okay. Well, can you eat a little bit more? Please? Here, look. It's right here. Yummy? Aw, thank you. I don't know if my microphone picked up any of his meows. But he just kept going. Local and regular Stevie G wrote about a book about food. For cocktails, but give us a shout out and we ain't gonna say no to free press. So grab a bite in his kids joint fried eye. So grab a bite at his kids joint fried eye and then swing by to meet him for a drink. Fried eye. Fried eye? That sounds like Friday in Australian. In Australian with an Australian accent. Fried eye. Very popular restaurant. Don't have a website. My Boston homepage. Wicked overrated. Saw it in Chef Signature, so I wanted to go there. Chef Signature fried eye. Each article in Chef Signature tends to focus on a restaurant. Each restaurant lists the one main dish the head chef is known for. Fried eye signature is the samosa cone. Can a vegetarian diet be trendy? Sit down with the guns. The new boys in Boston. James and Robert Garland. James, Robert, oops. I don't know which is which. China Indian, samosa cone. From a distance, somewhat resembles a traditional ice cream, complete with a waffle pattern. Fried potatoes, pureed peas, carrots, special ginger-based sauce. Robert, who is 3 years younger than James. Okay, so I got that right. No, not yet. Hey, don't scratch the wall, please. Thank you. You have to finish eating, buddy. You have to get your weight back. Loriter got sick in October and he's been struggling to gain weight back since. He's gained a lot of weight back though. He's at 7 pounds 12 ounces and he usually sits around 8.5. So he's doing really good, but I always try to like make sure he eats the most of his food that he can so he gains it all back. Most kids hate vegetables growing up. Mother grew up on a farm. They met. Let's just try this. Or maybe this. Lilith! Lilith is now reaching her whole arm. Her whole front leg under the door. Because she wants Lowrider's food. I know that's why. I don't know what I have wrong about their mom. Because she was his secretary. Maybe it's that she wasn't the final affair? I guess they could also go here. Let's try... We have James, Garland, Chef. Let's put this picture down for now. Mark. Whoops. Garland. Chef. What, baby? He just keeps going. He meows all the time and he's so cute. Yeah, you. It's a great storyteller. Wrote a book. Looking to open their own restaurant. Unfortunately, I never got it off the ground. Go back to work as a secretary even after Robert was born. In the diner where he worked, Dad had no room for experimenting. For the pet, Mom always had the eye for the best vegetables. Their parents who are now retired. Hey, Lowrider. Thank you. Parents who are now retired. Is that a... No, it's not. Okay. Hi. Yeah? He's got so much to say today. Apple pie has always been my mom's favorite. And the stupid line he used to make her laugh involving apple pie. Related to the Sistine Chapel pun. Assume that's all there is to it, but it's actually secretly named after them, sort of. You can place Robert Garland on the tree. Yeah. Oh, Robert, not Mark. Where did I get Mark from? The Clancy Trust? Okay. The entire family earned inheritance directly from the profits of the candy company, as well as Root, with the period. Nearly every Roottreee can potentially have a say, come under heavy scrutiny. Sam and her family should have all been covered, according to the wording revealed during an internal family conflict between Ron and Robbie. Those two, it seems like those who wrote the trust, Clancy Edward and the direction of Elias Roottreee, purposely deceived the rest of the family of how it worked, in an attempt to keep Sam and her father, Edward Clancy, his own twin brother, in comparative poverty. Because the rest of the family made more money hand over fist, they had very little motivation to question their understanding. Clark took over the company, most celebrated move was his first official one, and sure, Sam's family would get their share. To help facilitate this, the inheritance aspect of the trust is now under the control of a third party, Ruby Legal Enterprises. Ruby Legal Enterprises. Ruby Spratt. Can't find much about the company before this year. All the articles tell the same tale. Fiasco of Six Pieces and the revelation that Roottree's internal law group was complicit in such a cover-up, they hired outside counsel. Recently in the news, due to a high-profile lawsuit that they raised against Cicely Sanchez. They were in the news. Let's see. Ruby Spratt, 15 magazines surrounding Cicely Sanchez. They say that she then has the right to redistribute the photos in the magazine of Guy Hudson. Apparently announced that they would be pulling their issue the following day the moment the Ruby Legal Enterprises threatened them. Caused the issue to sell faster than any other in the magazine's history, though only for a day. Even people that would never have normally purchased it went out of their way to buy one. Just in case it would be worth something someday. It especially caught the eye of conspiracy theorists who assumed that anything worth suing over would have been hiding something. Expert legal analyst from News Times states that it would be unlikely that Ruby could have had the story pulled if it had gone to court. Piketty likely got more eyes on it than it would have if the Roottrees just ignored it. I would not be a good detective. That's how you spelled it, right? Oh. Uh-oh. Oh. There we go. Oh, an author? Portrait of a changed man. Follow-up, foreign gospel. Did not perform as well critically, but still sold quite respectably. She has written a few more books since then, including a biography of Van Gogh, but her first two are her claim to fame. Now for non-fiction, oh, whoops. Why can't I paste? Okay. And then she appeared in Piketty. Something she had to write for Guy Hudson. Cease and desist due to its inclusion of pictures she never had the right to publish. Okay. Whoops. Public library. Oh, well, the only one that I think we need to look into it's a Piketty. Because of Guy Hudson's photos. A talking toy fish, demonic messages supposedly said that the batteries ran low. Piketty had an article about a canceled book subject with Guy Hudson, and the issue was said to contain pictures that Cicely did not have the right to publish. Issue was pulled from store shelves, making it the subject of some conspiracies. Instant collector's item. Version found in these archives are incomplete. Basselbub? The issue of Piketty magazine that contained an article about Cicely Sanchez. Seems that it used photos of Guy that Cicely did not own the rights to publish. The magazine was issued a cease and desist by the Roottree's lawyer. The magazine was pulled from the shelves. Version you found in your periodical series search had the relevant pages removed, rendering the magazine useless. If you want to try to read about a potentially demonic fish toy. Let's go ahead and look at these books. Yeah? You were being so talkative today. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go put him out of the office and make sure the list food is up. Okay, everyone has in fact eaten their food. It's all up. We're all good to go. What if everything you stand for, everything you know to be true today could disappear in an instant? All your politics, relationships gone in the blink of an eye. Would you still be you? Cicely Sanchez tells this powerful story about a man who woke up after being saved from drowning in his backyard pool, became an entirely different person. Included are interviews from those that knew him best before, as well as a one-on-one chat that paints an entirely different picture. What if that were me? The other one was Born Gospel. A man from the Catholic Church claims he was told by God that he should travel to Thailand and began to preach, specifically with the goal to convert 10,000 people. Okay. It attracted a particular group of people. Wasn't it, like a bunch of conspiracy theorists? Yeah. Yeah, where did I find that? Maybe his updated website. Okay. So, the other day, I was editing the second video of this. And I fell asleep during the second part. And it was so funny because I put my head, like I had laid my head down, and whenever I woke up, I picked my head up and my headphone wire was like stuck to my forehead. Visitor count has reached 7 digits. Any older articles have been replaced. What am I looking at? Oh, shit. Okay. Oh, the... Right, the Piketty. Beelzebub. Beelzebub. That's so funny. Newfound focus on death faking seems to coincide with a post mentioning that he's begun believing the guy's not dead theories. In his own words, my eyes have been open and this is beginning to make too much sense. When Rootree's death was faked, Ron is still in charge. Clark is only there to throw people off. This allowed Ron to travel to France and develop their new candy recipe in secret. Can't possibly be Rootree. One of his first album song when he was performing under the devil name actually mentioned that he wanted to have sex with Raina. Wouldn't that have been before he found out, though? I don't know. Not even Sam Madsen is spared. Author Six Pieces isn't real. Sam Madsen is an anagram for Am Madness, purposefully leaving hints for us. Lauren Ritchie's book had begun to decrypt a cipher. Most of the cipher has seemed meaningless, but he managed to pick out the words people and vastness. He's working on figuring out what it means. The request at the bottom. Next year is a leap year, and Overwood is looking for fund and volunteers to catch the Roottrees red-handed in Operation R29. Right. He specifically mentions not to volunteer if you've ever drunk Spirit Cola, but doesn't go into why. Isn't there something where people think there's a microchip in a certain soda? Okay. Oh, guy's not dead, right? Guy's not dead. Ooh, there's 4 things printing. According to the website, Guy Hudson was a terrible president. Introduced multiple failed products. Needed to be done. So they killed him off and replaced him with a new president. Why wouldn't they have just had him step down if that was a problem? I don't know. Move immediately garnered sympathy. Company recovered the next year, more popular than ever. Next president stayed much further out of the limelight. Some people even theorize he was simply Guy Hudson in an elaborate disguise, which is why he stopped appearing in public. He was a president, right? Do you know why he never released it himself? Final draft. Had my name on it. Big, shiny, embossed letters. Ported steak. Sent his mistress Susie something into the bathroom. Remember her from our trip overseas. Too good for him. Anyways, he died soon after. That was the last it ever came up. So he died soon after. Meaning... Come on. Susan. Let's see. That's not it. Is it this one? Yes. No Susan there. No Susan. So this was from the trip. She said that she remembers him from her trip overseas. So I don't know if she'll be. Yeah, she's not on the secretary list. Was she the interpreter? Let's see. Office staff, product management. Susan Ford. We don't know her spouse's name. She was an interpreter. Is that on here? No. Okay. What was I at? No. It was an interview, right? Was it this one? Yeah. I remembered her from my trip overseas. She was too good for him. Died soon after. Actually, I haven't read it. Skimmed sections on Guy to see why people were suddenly calling me to pick up to ask about this man. She did well for what she had to work with. Only had rumors. I spent time tailing him. Sometimes he knew, sometimes he didn't. Invited me to join them when dealing with Roottreemania, Brazil. Daughter of his business partner in Australia. I think her name was Robin. He and she definitely spent a few nights together that he didn't want his family to know about, but I did. Daughter's name is Robin. Mentioned Guy's affairs. Like most people would logically think to treat them like infidelity was a problem for Patricia. On paper, in public, it was a marriage like any other. In reality, it was more of a mutually beneficial arrangement. They both got what they wanted out of it. I only had to spell it out so you can get it in writing for your readers. Women. Patricia enjoyed the company of women, and the swinger scene made that more accessible. I told her I wasn't interested in her and Guy. Found out later that if I had said yes, next question would have been whether or not her husband actually had to be there too. Guy, on the other hand, was seen in a traditional marriage, and at the same time could bet any women that found him charming. I can assure you that was exactly the type of marriage he was interested in. He'd been paid a significant amount to write a book about one of the root trees. Changed man. Portrait of changed man. Okay. Finally made it. Book they asked me to write sounded great. None of the stuff that made him interesting was allowed to stay. Anything with even the slightest threat to its image was a no-go. Guy was not complicated. If anything, I could boil him down to two traits. Wanted to be seen as the second coming of the great Elias Roottreemania. He'd never been satisfied living the life needed to be seen that way. He He had his fortune and good looks. Really liked to exploit them to pick up women. Couldn't let anyone else know, so it cost him a lot to cover up. That was the only interesting aspect of Guy, was James Bond trying to convince people he was Mr. Rogers, I guess. All about family. Guy did everything he could to be seen that way. After I submitted my first draft, he sent me this garbage book, Roottreemania Legacy, with Elias on the cover. Remember fancy flavors? Guy knew that part of Elias's legacy was the 5-piece flavors. That's what Guy tried to do too. Caviar was a disaster. Actually, somewhat popular in Brazil. Went to Brazil to open a Roottreemania factory. I had an out in my contract. Surprisingly, Guy signed the contract my lawyers wrote without running it by anybody in his legal department. Could pull my name off the book at any time, but Guy still got the content. So this is Guy. Not labeled as individual photos. Cicely was provided these photos by Roottreemania Company to use for her book. There's a Christmas tree. So this is Zach. This is also Guy. Okay. Where are we at here? 8 out of 12. So I think I'm gonna get 4 more and then end this video for the day. Oh, that's Susan? Christine Garland. Oh, for Zach's retirement. Okay, so wait, who's the other secretary? I guess he doesn't know who it is, right? Halfway is 16. Okay. Hi, Clark.
Sam reached out to me finally. I think I have you to thank for that one. My family's in a bit of a rough patch. Even though the candy is selling better than ever, everyone is fighting over the trust. The majority of us want to dissolve it. On paper, it seems like the right decision. The arguments about what to do next are endless and heated. More than a few Roottrees are worried about losing their wealth. I don't think we deserve it more than anyone else. I love my family, my wife, my daughters, even my son, who I hardly ever get to see. I want to keep them safe and secure, but I didn't do anything to deserve this fortune. Hell, I probably deserve it less than most. It took me way too long to get my life together. Okay, enough about me. Here's the deal. I can't stop the majority from voting one way or another. If you keep passing along potential Roottrees, I'll keep adding them to the list. On the other hand, there's been some leaps forward in genetics. It may sound like science fiction, but we can actually determine who's in the family just by testing their DNA. What you've done so far has been very useful. Just keep filling out the tree and we'll prepare for the tests.
So this is Clark. Does not know who the woman in the photo is. Okay. Well, that only leaves us 2, right? Could be Susan. to be the two that we don't know yet. I think this is where I'm going to stop the video for today. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. That way you get notified every time I upload a new video. And I will see you next time. Bye!